So back onto this door again. I did have a few issues with it. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video, but the bolts going through the hinges here were too short. Even though they were original bolts, they put a tube inside the door frame and it's too long, so I just buffed it flat and flush with the door frame. I'll show you in a minute. And then I got the bolts on, so that wasn't too bad. There is a problem with getting this door to fit. It was a well, it wasn't a bitch, but it was a nasty one, because I showed you before, I've got my little Mark II door gapping tool. That's my Mark I, but the problem with Mark I was you could only use it when there was no door on. So this one here, we can sort of fit in that gap 34 3/4, and that fits nice now, because perhaps you can see down here, I got my porta power up and just pushed a tiny bit, and it just sort of tweaked it a little bit so that the gap was better, but I still couldn't get the door to shut. So what did I do? Well, as a lot of others have done in the past, I took the bottom hinge off, and with the die grinder just moved about 2 millimeters this way, and that allowed us to get this door to shut pretty good by adjusting it. And I don't think I'm going to get any better than this. I'm sure I'm a bit short of space. Oh, man, that wasn't very good, was it? There. So it shuts really nice, but let me show you what the problem is. I'll take the camera off. Well, it's not really a problem, but you can see the gap here is a little bit bigger than here. Well, can't do anything with that. And this line is in line, which is good. The door top sticks up a little bit too much up here. Again, nothing. But this is the boogaloo, and you see it's almost touching here. Well, the reason for that is, as mentioned before, that the windscreen has been set too far back. And you see on the other side, compare it to here, it's what? It's 7 or 8 millimeters back. So if this was set forward, that gap would be pretty good. But in order to do that, you've got to take the roof lining down to get to the bolts that's under here. Do I want to do that? Because I've got to take the middle piece out to get this piece out? No, I'm going to leave it like that. Now, what am I going to do today? Well, as I showed you before, that this bracket here is nowhere near, and this one here is missing. However, there are 2 tapped holes here, so what I'm going to do is make a little bracket to tie that on. And this here, I'll just, like I say, make just a little plate to come up, little dog leg, and that'll stop that going like that and bending. I've got the seal to go into the bottom of the door. I've tested it, it works fine. You know, I've got to find some of these little plugs. I used to sell those kits, but I've let my stock go down. I hope I've got some. You can't salvage these and reuse them, that's the problem. Anyway, so then that will be done, so we can call that a day. Next thing is to make a strong back so we can get the steering wheel on, change the mirror. They want a longer mirror on. I don't think that's the right mirror, I'm not sure. And a few other little bits and pieces. Oh, I've got to change this binnacle over and mess about with that. And then this job will be done. So it's, like I say, it's Saturday morning. I want to get this out and get it done. But that door was the problem. So what's the latest with this door? I've been on it all morning. I made a little bracket out of some heavy Dexy on here and put some galvanised spray on. This one here, I just simply chopped off the old door because it was welded on the inside, so I've just had to do a tack weld onto that so it's in its right place. Pity really, because it's all painted, but what have I got to do now? Oh yeah, bottom seal. This was the bottom seal that came with the door. This is what it should be like, because this type was fitted at the bottom of the door like that. You see what I mean? It went onto that sill plate there. This doesn't, this goes on the bottom, so we're going to now pop rivet that on. I've got the, actually I did find a big bag of them clip things in. Now make sure when you do these, get the right drill size, because if it's too big they won't work, and if it's too small they'll break. Now obviously I've only got inches here, but one of these little drill gauges is really handy when you're guessing what drill it is. Like I say, these are all inches, but if we put that into there, I found it was 21/64 was a nice size. You can see there. So when you push it in, it went tight. But if you did it 5/16, which is about 8mm, it was just that bit too tight and was starting to break. Anyway, so that's done. What have we got to do next? Oh yeah, put the seal on. Then we'll put some rust proof. Oh, we have to put the cover on and then put rust proofing on, because if we put rust proofing on first, some crown, drink up. If we put crown on first, we won't get the sticky to stick. Never mind. Well, we'll work it out, but that's getting near enough completion now. Right, I got the membrane on, I taped it back on again and got the door on. I jumped a little bit. I had my radio on, so I can't use that because it was music on, but some of the door clips are broken as usual. These little blighters here, these hopeless clips have snapped off. They snapped off the pin in the door card. Now I'm going to put a piece in here if I can remember how we did them, and we fixed them with some little screws which are number 6 by ½ inch countersunk Phillips, simply as the head. So we've all had this problem before. It happens every time. Even though you try to take these door cards off as carefully as you can, the clips break off, these things. These are blue box ones, but it doesn't matter who makes them because they're all as bad as each other. MXC 1800. I've never had anything that's good yet to hold these doors on. They always break off. So I'm going to show you now how to fix them, because you can quite easily fix them, and you only need a few little tools. You need a die grinder and a little screw like that. Look, see, it has to be flat headed, a little countersunk screw. And what we're going to do is we're going to die grind off the top of that head, drill a hole in it, and these are just long enough to go through. So here we go, we're going to take this off. The drill to make sure it doesn't pierce the vinyl. But what I do is I just simply, that's why I needed 2 hands. I need to put a hand underneath and just feel the drill as the pressure's coming through without piercing the vinyl. So that was easy, just to drill a hole, anybody can do that. And now you're going to screw this in, making sure it doesn't come out the other side naturally. Keep checking. There we go. And then you can put the little clip back on. And look at that. And it moves around, look. Ahead. So that's fixed then. Like I said, we've done them before. I just want to get on and get this bloody job done. So the card fitted nice. Got to put the handle on, and then that's it. There's a couple of pins to go in here, and that's it. So let's see what it shuts like when it's finished. It only takes a few minutes to put it back together. I like to put the handle pointing towards the footwell rather than backwards, because sometimes if it's in the dark it's a bit of a fiddle around trying to find it. But anyway, this works nice, that's good. The door lock works, the escutcheon's on, that is finished. Now just a little word. When I was doing the door seal at the bottom, there are some holes pre-drilled at the bottom, but they wouldn't line up. So what I did was I put the seal on from this end, put one pop rivet in, pulled it tight, got on my back and just drilled all the new holes, but just did one at a time so that it didn't go out of line. And that's it. What's it shut like? probably shite. Ta-da! There you go. A reassuring of a flapping door card. There we go. That's nice, isn't it? So what's missing? There's a clip missing from here. Like a fir tree clip. I'm going to try and find one of them. I don't know where they are. But apart from that, that is it. So we can get this tidied up. Oh, cup of tea time. And then clean up the door. And that's it all fixed up. Not too bad, I suppose.